Question. So, for myself, what do I really love the most about Easter weekend? Let's talk about this, and I'll be right back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Easter weekend. Hi, I'm Jan. Welcome to the Save Money and More with Jan channel. Now, most of the time, I speak about saving money. And if you want to hear about saving money on this video, I strongly suggest you go back to my previous hundreds, couple of thousand videos that I did about saving money. But this weekend is super, super special to myself and to so many others. By the way, did anybody notice a little something differently about today's opening? I'm going to replay it. Let's see who notices. Now, for anyone super observant, you may have noticed that I started playing this theme and the opening video clip that goes with it. I've been playing it for a short while, maybe about the last week and a half or so, but I was not satisfied about something. The music cut off too soon. This song is too happy, just makes you feel good to listen to. So I went back and I re-edited. I kept the same video clip. I kept the same texting that I entered the first time. I might have made some minor adjustments to it and tweaked it up a little bit, but I let the music stop at a better conclusive time for the listener, for the viewer. You're probably saying, Janet, what does that have to do with Easter weekend? Not so much with Easter weekend, but in general in life, I think that you guys deserve sometimes a little bit better. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Today is not about saving money. Again, I urge anyone who is interested in or thinking about a saving money traditional video for me, not this weekend. This weekend is about hope and new life. Yes, hope and new life. I believe that there is something at this time seriously lacking in the times that we are currently in. And that's the feeling of hope, to believe that there's something bigger, better, and greater out there. Something that gives us all a sense of purpose, a sense of fulfillment, to represent what we really stand for. I believe that this lack is making people feel sad. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive just observing. So, on this wonderfully happy weekend for many, some people don't acknowledge this weekend in their way, and I understand that. But for those that do, take heart. Let me tell you something. All my life, I always heard about the Easter story. I always, this was the tradition that I was raised in and continue, my family goes forward forever. We'll always carry on this tradition. Okay. It is my utmost hope. But let me share something with you. 4 years ago, I had a very difficult Easter weekend. 4 years ago, on the day before Easter, I unexpectedly, well, kind of expectedly, but totally unexpectedly that specific day, lost my mom. That was a very, very challenging, to say the least, Easter weekend. But what had me keep going was the fact of everything that my dear mom and dad and everybody else in the education that I received, thanks to their hard work and sweat equity, that my family received. And I'm so grateful for it. I really am. That's how still I saw through the hope. It wasn't easy waking up the next morning on actual Easter morning saying, wow, mom's not here. But what, in a way, what an honor. If you're going to go home Easter weekend, you see where I'm going with this? And as difficult as it was to get used to the idea and the sadness you feel and the emptiness you feel, one thing did not leave me. And I'm so grateful for that. The feeling of hope, the feeling of new life, the feeling of we all become new creatures. We all become new creatures, the faithful. We do believe in that. And I hung on to the teachings and the hopes that was passed along to me my entire life. You see, we're given a bunch of tools. One of the hardest things to do is to be, I remember the simplistic analogy when I was a child. A carpenter doesn't go to work without a toolbox. That's true. Can't really do too much without your tools, right? So I am so grateful for the tools that were given to me. And even though that morning I woke up in great despair and fear too, like, how do I go on a life without my mom? My mom was so, and always will be, such a dear part of my heart. But then you realize, because of all the hope and the faith and the strength and the courage that we don't get just from ourselves, that comes from as a gift to us. It's always there. This is why I want to talk today about hope. Again, I'm going to go back to it. It's not about my mom, it's about hope. Where do we get hope from? Hope is from something greater than us. Now, some people think that this life and this, humanity thing, and this is it, and that's the IT. That's all of it. No, I don't think so. I personally will never think so, because it's just so clearly obvious something is greater and bigger than us. We just didn't just, come out of the thin sky, out of nowhere. And we can't duplicate things as much as some people wish they could, as much as some people believe in those technologies. Technology is fun. Technology is great. I'm grateful for it. I don't get to talk to you without it. I'm grateful for that. I can walk into my broadcast studio like I do every day and create a show to speak to you, to speak to not only you individually, but to you plurally. Okay. Hope. Where do we get hope from? Hope was actually and is actually given to us. Okay. I oftentimes compare it to a well. A lot of people think that they don't have that hope. The hope does not exist. That is not true. Just imagine your inside as if a well was in there. The hope is there. But when we need it more than ever, some of us just forget it's there. Some of us choose to ignore that it's there. Some of us dredge up every single bucket of hope that it takes to get you to where you have to be. And let me tell you something. I lost my mom on April 11th. That was what we call Holy Saturday in my faith. The next day, Easter Sunday, okay, that was April 12th of that year in 2020. Such a beautiful year, not. I'm just saying. But that very morning, when I had to face the first morning without my mom around, very, very tough. But it was Easter, and in the tradition that I was raised, in the belief system that I was taught, I went into that well in my heart and in my soul. I still got up. I still celebrated with the Mass and prayed. in everything that I normally would do every single Easter. Okay, like I said, this video is not for everyone, and that's okay. I'm just sharing my personal feelings on this matter. Matter of fact, I'm going to disable the comments because there's really nothing further to comment. I'm just sharing my personal belief. I also want to impart hope to anyone watching this, okay? The hope is there. You have to take it. Can't tell anyone to have hope. I can't say, but it is there. Whenever you feel hopelessness, because there is such a lack of hope today. I hear the most horrendous stories on the news, which is why it's really important to limit time on the news. I see things in general in life that I say, we need hope. We need prayer. We need encouragement. Now, what's my favorite part of Easter? Hope. Hope that things will be better. Hope that we can dredge up even when we're not feeling the feeling of, yay. That morning I wasn't feeling the feeling of, yay. Matter of fact, the next day I found out that my godson also went home. So in that same weekend, I lost two very important people. It was just not to be believed at that moment. Let's just put it that way. And here I am talking about it, smiling, got through it, got beyond it, can give messages. And I want to also mention a very important point. So today's video may take a few minutes longer than usual because it is my Easter message and it's not about saving money. Saving money is important, but it is not the have all and be all of everything. Saving money is very important, but it is not everything. That's one of the reasons I decided to change my channel name because I wanted to be able to expand upon messages. That's why the words save money and more with Jan are my channel's name. Okay. So there are times I don't feel the feeling. What does that mean? There are days, and I even mentioned this, it's going to be in an upcoming video this week. There are days I don't feel like making a video. I'm like, they have almost about 2,000 videos to look at from my stuff about ways to save money. Maybe today, no, I don't feel like making that video. Guess what? Do it anyway. But don't just do it to do it. Do it because you really believe in the message. And you really want to offer the viewer, the listener, the hope and the encouragement that they need, the tools perhaps, to get started on their savings journey. To offer the encouragement that, well, it seems really much harder than ever to go to the grocery store and to make ends meet. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes we hear mixed messages about how great things are. And then when we're, at the checkout, no matter how careful you are, you're like, wow, really, wow, and ooh, ah. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, despite if I feel really tired, if I don't feel in the mood, I will just sit down, perhaps take a cup of tea. And this is important. Sometimes when you don't feel like doing things, take a moment of transition from the time when you wake up going, I don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, go grab a cup of tea, put on your favorite music. And all of a sudden, for me personally, I don't know if that works for everyone, but for me personally, it's very, very helpful to transitionalize. So, you know what? Yeah, I definitely want to get out a good message today. Yeah, the folks are worth it. Now, the views may not be great. The subscriber count may not be great. Yeah, it's a nice feeling when you have a lot of subscribers and stuff like that. But that is not why I'm here. That is not why I'm here. I'm here to continuously give messages. In some cases, it's saving money messages. In some cases, it's telling a story message. In some cases, it's sharing an event that happened to me message. My Easter message and Christmas to me, out of all the messages of the year that I give, and I give a lot of messages, out of all the messages of the year, these are truly one of the most important messages. I want to take a brief break, and I'll be right back. I love that video clip. It's so tranquil. But I also want to remind many of you to do this. Thank you so much for smashing down the like button. If you made it this far into the message, I'm going to presume that you like this video. But if you're watching it all the way and not tapping like, why not? All right. Thank you so very much. All right. So I wanted to mention that aspect. Also, I get a little bit retrospective at this time of the year. I look back at Easter's past, like from my childhood. When I was a child compared to the time of right now, things have greatly changed in the way, traditions and stuff of that nature. I remember when I was a little kid, like I'm talking about in the early to mid 60s on Good Friday, we weren't even allowed to listen to the radio or TV that day. My parents were like, no, that's one day a year. You're just going to not listen to radio or TV. And then that also included going to church, in the afternoon of Good Friday and spending a bunch of time, in church and going to a long service and things of that nature. Some of these things I look back and I didn't understand at that time. It's too little to understand. All I knew was serious. I knew it was serious because my parents felt, and they were correct about this. Goodness, I miss you guys so much. But thank you. Anyway, they were correct in teaching us the following stuff. We can never experience the joy of Easter Sunday unless we go through a Good Friday. We can't just skip over it. Okay? We can't just say, well, let's forget about this day, what we commemorate on this day. The agony, the sadness, the way Jesus died. Okay? But he did it for great reasons. But we can't just skip over it and act like it didn't happen, then just all of a sudden wake up Easter Sunday, get a basket, chew on a bunny rabbit's chocolate ear. And by the way, bunny rabbit's chocolate ears are the best part of the bunny. I'm sorry. To this day, I'd rather just go for the ears first. But all goofing aside, you just don't skip over that. How can one really appreciate the joy of the risen Jesus without having at least felt somewhat? Could never feel it the way he did. Feeling somewhat the agony of the dying Jesus on the cross. How do we skip over that? You can't skip over that as a Christian. In my opinion, I think it just doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense. But to honor it, to feel it, to stay quiet perhaps that day, that holds true. That holds true. It's a good tradition to read the Bible a little longer, maybe if not a lot longer, to feel the feelings, to understand, to be grateful, to carry that hope, to let it grow. Carrying hope in what seems to feel at this moment an extremely chaotic, senseless time. I hear and see things that I scratch my head. And of course, I can't speak about these things. Form your own conclusions. And I'm like, wow, wow. There goes the well again inside of me that was given to every single one of us. It's not just a Janet thing. Oh, only Janet got that well. No, no. If you're watching this and you stayed on this long, that well is inside of you. So if you're feeling a little sense of, wow, something feels missing, hang on to that hope. Go back to the beliefs that perhaps you were taught so many years ago and help you so much. This is my Easter wish and my Easter prayer. Isn't it interesting that Easter coincides with spring? Spring represents new life. Easter is new life. Easter is a wonderful, wonderful, happy, happy, beyond happy day ever. And it doesn't matter your bank account. It doesn't matter if you live on Park Avenue or if you live in a little tenement apartment. It doesn't matter. It's the same gift for every single one of us, for those who want it. And that's my Easter message. Thank you so much for being here every single time. I do appreciate every single one of you. Have a blessed, joy-filled holiday. Think, pray. We could all use it, and stay blessed. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And of course, I'm going to end it with a great song. I'll give you a wave. Have an amazing, fantastic day. And thank you so much for your channel support. And a special, special, special thanks for anyone who gives super thanks. So appreciated. Take good care.